Today I'm going to show you how to create a hand-lettered SVG cut file. First, you will need to make your design. I used pencil and then went over it with a black marker to have a really crisp design ready to scan.
I have scanned my design and I have saved it as a JPEG, and now I'm opened it up into Photoshop Elements. And what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to duplicate it so that I can work on the design, and the original will be saved. And then I'm going to enhance the lighting on this. I want to make the whites whiter and the darks darker. So by using the levels, I can kind of create that look. I just want to make sure that the dark is dark and the light is light. And when I got that done, I'm going to click OK. And then I want to remove the background. That makes it easier. You don't have to, but I'm going to do that. So over on the left-hand sidebar, I click on the paint fill, and in the top menu bar, I can click clear, and then I click on that, and I can erase the white areas from my design and have that transparent background come through. And now that I have that done, I'm going to save it as a PNG. And from here, I'm going to open it up into Illustrator to finish making this into a cut file. So we're going to click and save as a PNG and go from there. Music PNG into my Illustrator. And from here, I want to make this into a vector. So up here on the top menu bar, as when you pull any image in, it gives you this option for image trace. So I click the drop down and we're going to click on default. And this is why I like to use the black, make sure I've got clear black lines and design, and as clean of a design as I can get. And the tracing results, you know, you can see it kind of cleans everything up. I'm just going to make that turn for a minute so I can see it better. Okay, then you can clean it up even a little bit more. Up here on the menu bar next to tracing results, there's like a little clipboard looking sign, and you can increase the threshold, which makes it a little bit darker, a little more thicker. The paths, you can clean up the paths. Make your corners a little bit sharper, smooth them out. And then turn down the noise, meaning any of the rough spots. I like to turn mine down a little bit. Turn down the noise. And then you can click ignore white, and it will remove any of the white space. And then when you're done and you have it looking the way you want, you can go up here to click expand, and now you've got your design all ready to go to be turned into a cut file. You can see here that some of my edges are kind of rough, so using some of the tools in Illustrator, we're going to clean that up. One of my favorite tools to use when trying to clean up a file is over here on the left. It's underneath, I always have to remember, this shaper tool, like the circle and the pencil. There is the smooth tool. So you can click on that, but click on your design, click on the smooth tool, And I just hit Control or Command plus to zoom in. And you can see all the little points. And I just hold down my mouse and kind of go along that edge, and it smooths that out. I'm going to smooth down here a little more, over here on the O. Smooth that out a bit. And you can just start cleaning up your design like that. Then you have to, each path you have to click on individually. So we're only able to click to work on like the outside of this because it's all connected. So if I wanted to work on the inside of this L there, the loop of the L, click on that design again, and then click on the smooth tool, and now I can work on the inside, and it's just going to work on this path. So I'm going to take a little bit of time and clean up my design, and you can leave it as, you can make it as smooth as you want, or as rough to give it that real hand lettered look and feel. But when you go to cut it, just know that it's going to show these lines. Okay, another thing you can do is click on the entire design, and if you want to ungroup, you can right click, ungroup the elements, and that way if you wanted to change the location of something, if you needed this to move up a little bit, you can move that up, move these up. If you want to make one of your letters a little bit bigger to fit with the rest, you can do that. Move things around. As long as, if they're connected like this, then that's going to be one design, but you can move some of the little elements around to make it fit your design a little bit better. And then if you want the option for when you go into Cricut Design Space, or even for cutting for your silhouette, if I pulled it in, if I saved it like this, then when it opens up in Cricut Design Space, all of these things would be different layers. And I don't necessarily want that. I want this to be one file cut exactly the way I have it laid out. So I'm going to highlight everything and click on the very top menu bar. I'm sorry that you can't see it, but you can also right click and group that again. And then I don't think I can show it to you on here. Well, all of this still highlighted. Go up to Object. The drop-down menu will give you Compound Path. Click Make. And now it is one solid file that cannot be changed, or the individual pieces can't be moved. And then you want to go up to File and save it as an AI file. So loveofmusic.ai, so that you can come back to this and change it around if you decide to. Now that I have everything ready to go, I have everything grouped, I've made it into a compound path, I am going to go up to File and click Save As, and this is where we save it as an SVG. Right here, not this SVG compressed, but as an SVG. You can also save it as a PDF if you wanted to have it as a printable, but you can save it here as a SVG. And I wanted to show you something really quick before I did that. Also, if you wanted to save it as like a picture, you go up to File and click Export and export it as. I wanted to show you some of the options here on export. They have a PNG, they have a DXF, which is a cut file for big cutting machines. an SVG will work on Cricut Design Space, and it should work on a Silhouette. DXF is just for bigger AutoCAD cutting machines. And this is where you save it as a JPEG, also for Photoshop, and it has this option for an SVG. I do not recommend saving it or exporting it and then saving it as SVG. Anytime I've tried this, it will not open in Cricut Design Space. So do not go export SVG because that will not work. So if save as an SVG for cutting in your Cricut Design Space, click Save As, and then choose the SVG here. A Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to open up a new project. And to get our designed file that we did all on our own into Design Space, we click Upload, and then we're going to upload image, and we're going to look at Love of Music, SVG, and drag and drop. So there it is. It's got the transparent background, which means it's ready for a cut file. We can name it Love of Music, give it some tags, and then we click Save. And now we click on it to insert the image onto our canvas. See, there it is, one layer. That's exactly what we wanted. And then we can size it to fit whatever we're going to be putting it on. We're going to click Make It. And because we're going to be using heat transfer vinyl, we want to make sure we have a mirror image of that. So remember, mirror image is just for heat transfer vinyl, iron-on vinyl, whatever you want to call it. Then we click Continue and send it on to our machine. Show you real quickly what would happen if you did not do this file as a compound path. So I want to make sure that this design is grouped. So we're just going to double check it is grouped. So I did not make this a compound path, and I'm going to save as for Love of Music 2. Go down here and save it as an SVG. And anytime I save it and these settings come up, I never change anything. I just leave it as it is, click OK, and then let's open back up our Cricut Design Space. We're gonna cancel that cut. Okay, so this is our file that's just one full design, one full layer that we saved. We made it into a compound path and saved. So let's upload for the Love of Music 2. And see what we get when we put this into the canvas here. All right, you can see over here on the left-hand side, it is, or on the right-hand side, all the layers that it's pulling in. So it's going to take a minute. Okay, let's move our original one-layer design here. So there it is. It's showing every layer. They're grouped. It's grouped, but it is every dot, every little splash, every letter, and that's fine. You can have it that way too if you don't want to make it a compound path. I'm just showing you that there's different options for saving these files and making them easier for people to cut. You can go ahead and click Make It, but if you wanted to have the opportunity to manipulate this in Cricut Design Space, leave it as every layer for itself, and then you can ungroup it, and then you'll be able to move everything around that you wanted, if that's how you want to save it. So 2 options for you, but that is how you can create cut files using your own lettering and your own designs, just with paper and pen and your scanner, and you'll need your Adobe Illustrator for sure. And there you go.